Welcome to Impact Duty. I'm your host, Manisha Dadlani Kripalani, bringing you empowering stories of friends and people I admire. Their voices have given me joy and the momentum to share their stories with you. Dr. Jaishree Sharad, founder of Skinfinitii, is an internationally renowned cosmetic dermatologist practicing in Mumbai for over 2 decades with a clientele of celebrities from Bollywood, politics, and cricket. She is a TEDx speaker and part of a highly acclaimed international faculty for fillers, Botox, acne scar treatments, chemical peels, and lasers. Her books, Skin Talks and Skin Rules, are bestsellers, and we look forward to her upcoming book. Hello, Dr. Jaishree. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Pleasure is mine. And congratulations on your TEDx talk, which I believe just released yesterday or a couple of days ago.
Yeah, thank you so
Congratulations.
much. Thank you so much. Means a lot. Thank you.
It definitely does. And Dr. Jaishree, that's why we're here today, because you've got quite a story. You've established yourself as the dermatologist, a renowned dermatologist in India. And I'd like to know where your journey actually began. Did you always know that this is the field you wanted to get into?
Um, Actually, no, I did not want to be a dermatologist. I wanted to be a pediatrician or a surgeon. And, I was actually studying after my MBBS. In India, you have to do an MBBS. You have to first become a doctor and then you have to do your post graduation. And for certain reasons, I could not, you know, uh, join a pediatric postgrad. Ended up getting dermatology by chance or by fluke. Maybe
Aha,
God wanted it that way. And so that's how dermatology happened to me. Basically,
right,
my mother had fallen ill and I had to quit everything and go down and be with her in Jamshedpur for a couple of months. By the
right.
time I came back, everything was done and the seats were all taken. And it was like, okay, there is Dermat if you want. And like, so I'm talking about 1996 when Dermat was, now Dermat is the topmost seat when it comes to postgrads. Back in the day, nobody wanted it. So there's like, okay, there is a seat if you want. And so like, okay, I have no choice. Let me take it.
Yes, you're
So
right. So, Dr. Jaishree, you're right. The whole industry has changed and the focus has totally changed as well. I mean, dermatology has been recognized as quite the field to get into. And as mentioned, you've been able to establish yourself as the dermatologist for quite a few celebrities. What was your cementing point within the industry? Like, what was that turning point or that key client that cemented you within the industry?
So I think what happened, the key to everybody here and to all the youngsters, especially the message here that I want to pass on before I move is that whatever you do, if you do it in all honesty and sincerity and put in all your hard work out there, even if it doesn't please you, like even though I didn't want to be a dermatologist, once I took it up, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I put my 1000% there, you know.
Right.
So that sort of really helped. And so when I started when I completed my post graduation and then started my practice, I also did a lot of academic work. So
Mm-hmm.
um, attending conferences outside, internationally, learning. Um, Initially, of course, the first 4 years I couldn't afford anything. But once I made a little money, then I also got some scholarships. I went to Bangkok, learned about lasers. I went to Miami, learned about fillers, Botox, because in those days they were not taught in India.
Right.
So I learned all of that with whatever hard-earned money and whatever scholarships I could get because of passing certain exams and stuff. And then what happened was there was this very famous doctor in Hong Kong who uh, happened to be very impressed with my lecture, which I had given in Hong Kong. And when there was a page three person from India, from Bombay, who wanted certain treatment, and she went to him in Hong Kong, he said, listen, just go back to Mumbai and hunt for this doctor. Her name is Jaishree Sharad, and she's going to do it for you. So this lady came and she looked me, hunted me down.
Right.
a very popular person today, a very dear friend of mine, because the story goes back to 2006.
Wow.
And uh, and then it was like word of mouth, one after the other, because she was well connected to the industry as well. And so that's how, from 2008, I started treating the people from the industry. And it was always word of mouth. In fact, people did not
Hmm.
know that a Jaishree Sharad existed, and she treats Bollywood till 2013 when Mr. Bachchan,
Really?
yes, till 2013 when Mr. Bachchan actually launched my one of my clinics, when it all came out in the media. Otherwise, I was very low key, low profile. Nobody knew that somebody like this existed. Patients would walk in quietly, come, get their treatments done, go. So, I think that helped a lot.
Oh, for sure it did. And Dr. Jaishree, we've actually seen, or I believe we've seen an increase in skin and hair problems. You can tell me otherwise. Um, Predominantly in this last decade, and not even taking COVID into account. What's your take on it? Why do we, or why have we seen more skin and hair problems? Or do you think it's because now people are talking about it? What's your take on that?
Problems always existed. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, cosmetic problems have increased. Skin problems
Mm.
have existed, whether it was psoriasis or pemphigus or acne or whatever, they have always existed. Just like retinols and niacinamides have always existed, vitamin C has always existed. We've been studying about it from since decades. But now
Mm-hmm.
suddenly we're talking about it. Similarly, now people are more aware.
Mm-hmm.
Cosmetic skin problems have increased. So when I talk about cosmetic skin problems, I talk of hair fall, I talk
Mm-hmm.
of acne, I talk of hyperpigmentation, and that's because of the lifestyle that people are leading. So an unhealthy diet, sleeping late, smoking, weed, whatever, all these, the stress levels have really increased, you
Wow.
know, and the exposure to blue light in the form of, sitting in front of your laptops all day or your telephone, your hand
Yeah.
phones, etc., that has increased. So it's like a combination of all of these, which has, and also the food that you eat is no longer purely organic, right?
Yes.
The air that you breathe is not pure air. It has like a lot of contaminants in it. So, because of all these, what has happened is the process of aging is faster. The
Ooh.
cell degradation is much more. So, you end up losing hair at an earlier age, you end up with more acne, you end up with fine lines, wrinkles. All that is happening at a faster pace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening. And then, of course, because of all that, people have gotten more aware. In the last decade, I would definitely say people want to look better, want
Mm-hmm.
to feel confident with clear skin, which is a great thing. They've started giving a little bit of importance to the skin, which is great. Otherwise, back in the day, when I was a child, nobody knew what a sunscreen was.
Mm-hmm.
There was only a cold cream. I can't name brands, but okay, this cold cream
Yes.
and this skin whitening cream. So there were two creams that moms and aunts and grandmoms used, and we also were made to use those. Or maybe at home, of course, my mom used to apply a lot of malai on my face every day. I used to hate it, but now I know, oh, that's lactic acid, and that was moisturizing, and it has skin brightening properties. But yeah, so that's what it is. It's
Oh.
awareness. Thanks to digital media, the awareness has really grown. And then you also have a lot of beauty pageants and, all these different kinds of pageants. And that's why the awareness has grown.
Wow. And have men become a large part of your clientele? And if so, have are their skin issues any different from ours as women?
So this is very interesting because this is exactly what I spoke about on my TED talk. Yes, um, I wouldn't say the problems are very different. They're very pretty much the same. Men have skin too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and thicker skin, so maybe folliculitis is a little more in them. Maybe they age a little slower than women, when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to sagging or wrinkles. But otherwise,
Right.
pretty much the same. And yes, they are now, thanks to maybe the internet or thanks to all the endorsements which the actors do. that men have realized that they have skin too, and they should be taking care of their skin, and that they should be looking good, not just for for people or to impress others, but just for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely, I think now in my clinic, I have a 50-50 ratio of male to female, which is
Wow.
great. When I started 23 years ago, I probably had a 10% male clientele.
Wow. That's not what I expected to hear. A 50-50 ratio. That's incredible.
In
And
23, yes.
hmm hmm and moving on to what's on everybody's lips, figuratively and literally, which are fillers. I know there's a lot of talk about fillers, and they've become rather popular, especially in India, thanks to a lot of shows as well, that have made it really quite common to get fillers in. What's your take on that? How dangerous are they? What type of fillers are they? And are they for everybody? Are they for all of us?
Yeah, of course. Hyaluronic acid fillers are very, very safe. They're extremely safe. They are FDA approved, well researched. They've been in the market for a very long time. And they're not just for celebrities, they're for everybody. And I'm happy to say that in my clinic, I mean, just anybody walks in for a filler, and
Mm-hmm.
when the lady wants to look good, or when the male wants to look good, or they find that there's a little hollowness under the eyes and they're looking very tired, or their
Mm-hmm.
lips have become thinner with age, that sort of makes them look a little mean, or they're looking really gaunt and haggard. They don't mind getting fillers done. Youngsters also are looking towards getting under eye fillers, or if they have a smaller chin and they want to improve their contour, they want to do that. Guys want to inject fillers for the chin or a nice robust jawline. And I think there's no harm in all that. If you're spending money on your jewelry and your clothes, why can't
Mm-hmm.
you spend on your skin, um, otherwise everybody's spending thousands and everything else. So here is something which is well researched. Now the thing is that the person who's injecting should be well qualified. So look at the certificates, look at the qualifications, look at the training, because
Mm-hmm.
not every dermatologist is trained to be an injector. Okay.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And finally, look at the person and the aesthetic sense of the person. Because if, I always say that if there are in a class of, say, 50,
Uh-huh.
when it comes to, say, painting or sculpting, in a class of 50, all of them would be taught how to paint and sculpt, but only
Right.
two will become an MF Hussein, or one of those famous painters, right, or
Totally.
sculptors. So not everybody becomes a Da Vinci or a MF Hussein. So that is what it is. So the person who is injecting you should have an aesthetic sense, and should not make every person just do math and make every person look the same. So if
Right.
I look at you, I catch your best feature and I enhance it, and I don't try to change your face. I keep it
Mm-hmm.
as natural as possible, but I tweak it, and you look fresh, and you look, that there's a spark in you. That's
Totally.
what fillers can do if the injector knows how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
Wow.
yes, there are side effects with everything. So if things can go wrong. Of course, bruising is very common. I don't even call it a side effect if it's
Right.
there for 5 days a week or something. Um, but otherwise, the other things that you read on the internet, you just got to choose your dermatologist correctly.
Wonderful, Dr. Jaishree. Thank you. And I'm moving on to bust two myths. I'm going to choose a myth, and I'll leave you to choose whichever myth you'd like. And we'll go ahead and try and change some mindsets. So the myth I would like to bust is the question of face shaving. I mean, we are so scared. I mean, we see men with thicker hair growth when they start shaving. So we as women think that once we're going to do or remove hair on our face, it's going to obviously or increase our hair growth. Okay, is it true? And if not, why and how?
Not at all. It's not at all true. Before I did my full body laser hair removal in 2004, I was
Uh-huh.
only shaving my face. All right. And I was probably shaving it every other day, right?
Wow.
So see, it's like this. If you look at a tree, okay, imagine there's a tree and you have uprooted it completely from the roots. What happens? The soil is very plain.
Right.
But
Right.
if you chop a tree from somewhere
Uh-huh.
in between, okay, the trunk is going to be very rough.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So the soil, so the trunk vis-a-vis the soil, there's a huge difference. So when you are doing something like a threading or a waxing, you're removing the hair from the root,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and therefore the skin surface feels smooth, and it takes time for the hair to grow, and the
Mm-hmm.
hair grows very normally from the root. So it grows normally and naturally, and so it doesn't feel thick.
Right.
Now, when you shaved, you've just removed the hair on top of your skin, on
Right.
over the surface. So when the inside hair grows out, it feels like as if, oh, it's thicker. But no, it's your same hair.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
When
right.
hair grow longer, at the edges, at the ends of your, if you feel, they're very thin,
Right.
right?
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes. Yes.
but if
Yeah.
you feel it somewhere here, they are not thin. They're
You
thin.
are so right. You are so right. Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
what happens. That
Mm-hmm.
because your hair are not removed from the root,
Mm-hmm.
and part of your, or maybe more than half of your hair are still inside, and they're
Mm-hmm.
growing out, and they're growing at their normal rate, because they are all dead hair, remember.
Yes.
You feel as if they're growing faster and they're thicker. It's such a myth.
Thank you for busting that myth. And
You
I'm
can
yes.
shave, but please shave in the direction of the hair. Do not
Mm-hmm.
shave against, otherwise you could get razor bumps. Your razor should be clean, and don't, share it with others. And
Mm-hmm.
don't dry shave, or if you dry shave, also make sure you moisturize.
Wow. All right. Wow. Thank you. And Dr. Jaishree, as mentioned, I'm going to leave you to bust a myth that you think needs a bit of a mindset shift with people.
There are so many. Okay, I will talk about the most common one. The people faces acne, and they say, "Oh, I drink so much water, but my acne doesn't disappear." Okay,
Mm.
or even the fact that I drink a lot of water, but my skin is not, it's very dry.
Mm-hmm.
A very common one. Now, acne is a hormonal imbalance, a result of a hormonal change or imbalance in the body. It can aggravate with stress and, sugar and food with high glycemic index, certain medications. And if you use, very oily or cream based heavy products on the face, they will clog your pores and you can get acne. It has
Right.
nothing to do with water.
Oh, really? I guess I better put this away. No, I'm just kidding. Uh,
No, it's important to drink water because, there is something called the gut
yeah.
skin. So you need to drink water. You need hydration from within. So it's important to drink water. But again, dry skin is not related to the water intake, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about your upper layers of the skin do not get hydration from within. They get
Right.
hydration from outside, from the
Mm-hmm.
environment. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they draw in all the moisture from the environment. So even if you drink gallons of water, your skin can remain dry.
Mm-hmm. Mm, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you have lesser oil glands in your skin will be dry. So there's no certain connection between gallons of water and skin getting dry. Skin can
Totally.
get dehydrated if you drink inadequate water. Lips can get chapped, but the skin dryness is not related. So I don't know if I've confused you, but that is the difference.
Not at all.
Remember that the upper layers of the skin will get water from the environment, and that is why you need to moisturize.
Mm-hmm.
But because from the inner layers, there's no supply to the upper layers, they are all dead cells.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank
Okay?
you.
Please go
Thank
ahead
you.
and drink water. but do not associate it with dry skin and acne.
What came out clearly was the word moisturize. Okay. And I know that's something that you highlight in a lot of your videos. One of my favorite videos, one of my favorite reels that you put out recently was the one about the 4 stages of looking, or the 4 days of looking after your skin. You know, so you start with your hyaluronic, or I'm going to leave you to actually correct me on this, because I'm messing it up, but it was one of my favorite reels. So I'm moving to social media and talking about how beautifully you've used social media recently. I love the messages that that come across, because you use trending music, but you give us such fabulous advice. So let's clue in and key into that particular video that I'm talking about, which is the 4-day ritual, and ask you how you've been using social media so effectively.
So should I first tell you about that particular video? So that is skin cycling, and it's doing the rounds on TikTok. And what's been happening is people don't know, and they just start using a bunch of products just because they see an influencer talk about it, or just because everybody is using an AHA, BHA. And trust me, post lockdown, I had so many young girls and boys come with reactions, and they would come with bags of products. I'm using PHA, I'm using BHA, I'm using niacinamide, I'm using vitamin C, I'm using retinol, I'm using. Hello, your skin doesn't need so many actives. Right? And if you really want to do actives, you can do them on alternate days. You don't have to do everything at one go on the same day, which is the concept of skin cycling. So if you see a
Right,
lot of prescriptions, they are all about skin cycling. We don't give you 10 products on one day.
right.
So this 4-day regime is you use either an alpha hydroxy acid or a beta hydroxy acid on day one. So alpha hydroxy acid, if you have mature skin, a lot of pores which look more visible, fine lines, or more aging skin, hyperpigmentation, you use AHA. If you have oily skin, acne prone skin, or acne, blackheads, whiteheads, zits, you use a BHA, which is salicylic acid. So on day one, you use either of them depending on your skin's requirement. On day two, you switch to a retinol. Now, do not use it if you're pregnant, or if you're just planning to conceive, but otherwise you can use a retinol. And people ask me what age. We prescribe retinol to a 16-year-old for acne also.
Really?
Right? So it's a good ingredient to use. For anti-aging, if you want, you can start after 30. But that's your day two routine. You use a retinol. Okay. And on day three, because these two, both AHA, BHA, as well as the retinol, have this property of micro exfoliating. So they are causing peeling of the skin. If you look at the skin under a microscope, when you're using a retinol or an AHA, BHA, you will see the skin is flaky. All right. So there is micro exfoliation that happens. So you can't be using it every day, because then you damage the barrier protective layer of the skin, and your skin gets compromised and more sensitive, which
Right.
is on day three and four, you just allow the skin to heal. So you use a moisturizer, you use hyaluronic acid, you use a cream which has ceramides, use a cream which has choline or vitamin E. So just allow the skin to heal. So maybe you can use niacinamide, it's vitamin B with moisturizing properties.
Wow.
Do not use any of the other actives. Do not use a vitamin C, or do not use an AHA, BHA again, or a retinol again. So 2 days of rest and moisturizing. And the fifth day, you can go back to the AHA. The sixth day, you can go back to the retinol. The seventh day, again, it's rest. So you're giving time for your skin to heal as well. And you're giving time for the actives to work without causing
Wonderful.
reaction, without causing redness, irritation, flaking, etc.
Totally. Oh, Dr. Jaishree, wonderful. And moving on to, like I said, social media. How have you used? Yes, how have you used that so effectively? I mean, you've got
You
a great
also,
team.
I don't have a team.
I mean,
Um,
what all those people dancing in the background? I've seen
yes, 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 yes. Those are my staff. Yes, yes, they
yeah,
are my
they're so
amazing staff. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So I try to involve them because then they also enjoy themselves.
right,
And, and it's just a different way of portraying things and sending the message across to the masses.
right,
Staff are very cooperative and they're adorable. They're very good. But yes, so what happened before COVID was I did have, three different agencies at three different points of time
right.
looking after my Instagram.
Uh-huh.
Uh, they would just make these posts with due respect to them. I mean, they would make the posts, but then all the posts had to be, I had to send them the content. And
Mm-hmm.
then they would
Mm-hmm.
make the post. And then there would be a lot of back and forth, back and forth. And I never had
Mm-hmm.
that kind of time.
Right.
So we couldn't deliver, although they, gave their 100%. But at the end of it all, I had 10,000 followers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then lockdown happened. And so there was a lot of time. So I started doing Instagram live every day. So I've
Uh-huh.
actually built a family. I started recognizing the names every day.
Um,
They would come on live every day, ask me questions, and I knew this one, that one, this one. There's an
yeah.
Instagram family for almost a year. Okay,
Right.
every day. And so my followers jumped, to about maybe 25, or yeah, to about 25,000. Then my account got hacked.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And then but they helped me. Instagram helped me retrieve a lot of all my content went, but
Mm-hmm.
I lost about 7, 8,000 followers, but the rest of them they managed to retrieve.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, let me, and all my international colleagues, my American friends,
Right.
during the lockdown, I did a lot of lives with them as well. And
Right.
I saw that they were happily dancing to the trending music and, doing all
Yeah.
that stuff. And I said, if they can do it, why not I? So then I was the first one who started this trend of a dermatologist doing the dancing moves along with the trending audio. And then after
Mm-hmm.
me, all the dermatologists, I think, in the country followed. Most and then it became a normal thing. But initially, there was a lot of, oh, how is she dancing? Oh, she's a doctor. I still get trolled a lot of times.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How can a doctor dance or behave yourself? But then it introduced. And then and so as I kept doing it, and there is a creative side to me. Remember, I am a filler expert. That's my
Mm-hmm.
forte. I
Mm-hmm.
sculpt faces. That's my passion.
Mm-hmm.
I used to paint when I was small. I used to sing when I was young. So there is a creative side to me. I used to be in a lot of plays and stuff. So, I think I tried to bring out that creative side of me, which was dormant somewhere because I became a doctor. and and then I put them all together, and then I started creating my own reels. So I have a very nice girl who works here at the clinic, and so what I do is on Thursdays, I go to the clinic, and when no staff is around, I just go and I shoot all my reels, the solo reels
Mm-hmm.
that they're all short, and then I give them to this girl. And then I start when I'm traveling to work. That's when I start thinking of the various topics, and then
Uh-huh.
I the voice messages. So she puts them as text, and then my assistant doctor helps me with the caption, because earlier I would do the whole captions, but in the last I think 3 months, my assistant doctor sort of writes the caption, and then I go through it, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. And the text is all my voice messages. With this girl, she does the editing and she puts the text out there. Otherwise, till April of this year, everything was being done by me, and then she took over. So it's nice.
Excellent.
And then now that she's there, she records the team, and they're also excited. They do their dance moves and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's all going well.
Very nice. I saw the Independence Day one, and that was really lovely with the whole team from your clinic.
You should watch
And
them. So we've always had celebrations in the clinic. We've done, whether it's Diwali or Christmas or whatever. and New Year and all of that. So, they all do their fancy their dresses and their dances and all that. So now this time we thought, why don't we shoot it and put it up on Instagram? So you have Diwali reels also, if you see, you know, that's what we do. We just have fun, basically.
Excellent. Excellent. What a great way to tie purpose and passion together. And before I say goodbye to you, Dr. Jaishree, taking a look at a book that you've come out with, how do we access it over here in Europe? Is it accessible to all of us?
I think it's available on Kindle. If you're I don't think the first book, Skin Talks, is available, but the second one, Skin Rules,
That's what I'm
is,
talking about.
yeah, so that is available on Kindle. So you can buy it and you can read it. The third
Ah,
one coming up next year. I finished writing it, and it's in the process of editing and stuff. So yeah, that's going to be interesting.
excellent. Which allows me then to ask my last question, which was, what would you like to see manifest for you and the industry in the near future?
I think safe, natural, ethical skincare is what I'd want,
Ah,
because there's a very thin line between ethics and going a little overboard.
right.
It's a very thin line between people wanting to look natural and wanting to look like somebody else. I want Kylie Jenner's lips or I want Angelina Jolie's lips. Should not happen. I want my lips, but my lips more enhanced,
Mm-hmm.
more youthful is what the thing should be. Uh, do not get obsessive about your face and how you look on Zoom or how you look on in your selfie.
Mm-hmm.
Pictures are distorted on these selfies and Zooms, etc. Learn to embrace all your flaws. Whatever little tweaking you can do in a natural way, do them. But otherwise, you if you have, if you just embrace your skin color, and embrace those few flaws you have here and there. What is very important is to have a beautiful heart. And I always say, brides who are who are getting married out of choice are always glowing, right? We always say
Mm,
brides are glowing. Why are they glowing? Because they are so happy from within.
right.
So learn to look at the positive of everything and, dodge the negativity. There's a lot of negativity everywhere. People are so judgmental. I don't understand why. So get all that away,
Mm-hmm.
and your skin will glow. Follow a skincare routine. That's very important. Eat healthy. Skin is
Mm-hmm.
holistic skin. It's always holistic. So you have to eat right. You have to exercise. You have to learn to cope with stress. And apart from that, you have to put all the negativity away and be beautiful on the inside so that you are beautiful on the outside as well.
What a beautiful message to end with. Dr. Jaishree, it's been such a joy talking to you today. And I'm I'm wishing you all the best, and I can't wait to get my hands on your book. So
And
thank you for cluing us in, and woo, a new one coming out soon. So all
soon,
the
I can't
very
give the
best.
name and stuff, but yes, soon. Watch out.
Excellent. Take care, Dr. Jaishree, and I look forward to actually meeting you in person when I'm next down in Bombay.
You must come. I'd love to see you. Thank you so much.
Take care.